Joe Varden, Cleveland.com. LeBron, a lot's being made about all 4 games being won by the home team. But what, now looking back, what were you guys able to do? What did you change? What was different about you from the first 2 games out there to how you've played in these 2?
I mean, obviously we were a lot better defensively, flying around and making them take, contested shots and making them make the extra pass and still being able to fly around. And our communication level has been up, obviously in the last 2 games. So we got to, as loud as it is in the Garden, we got to be able to transfer that energy and that communication in Game 5, and in order for us to be better than we were in Game 1 and 2.
You've talked a lot this year about being a new team with all the moving parts and whatnot, but most of the guys you guys are relying on have been there, and 4 of you have won a championship. Should you be ready for what you're going to see in Game 5, and what have you seen lately that would tell you that you are?
I mean, we don't know what we're going to see in Game 5. I mean, only the game guys know that. We know it's going to be an environment. We know their fans are going to be very energetic. But, we have to just have our same mindset as we had when we came home for these 2 games. And, if our mind is there, then, we put ourselves in a position to be victorious.
Brian, Tom Reed, The Athletic. Oftentimes we're asking you, when we ask you about Kyle Korver, it's draining critical 3-pointers. But tonight to see a 37-year-old guy out there throwing his body around, chasing down balls going out of bounds, what does that say about his level of commitment and urgency in the playoffs?
I love Kyle ever since we made the trade to get him here. I thought it was I have no idea how Griff was able to pull that off still to this day. He's just a true professional. It's not many of us 03 class guys still around, and we just feel like we just cut from a different cloth, because we've just been around for so long and we had this work ethic, and you see him every single day just putting the work in, putting his mind, putting his body into it, and it's not about his age. I mean, I think it's just his always just keeping his body, in the right position, especially in tonight's game. I mean he's guarding how old is Jaylen Brown? How old is Jaylen Brown? Can somebody help me? You guys, 21. He's guarding Jaylen Brown, one of the most athletic wings that we have in our league. He's 21 years old. Jaylen could fall on the ground 10 times and probably spring up just as like he'd never even fell. And I don't really like Kyle falling too much like that. I got to keep his body as fresh as possible. But, I mean, listen, he's doing whatever it takes to try to help us win with the blocks, with the strips. Obviously, his shot making is very key for our team as well. But it's just the intangibles that he's doing for us defensively that's just put him, in another position to be on the floor.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. LeBron, we talked about Larry Nance Jr. a little bit this morning. What have you seen from his growth from postseason Game 1 to now, and how important do you feel like his third-quarter stretch was at the end there?
I just think it's like you guys always hear me preach about, the best teacher in life is experience. And, from Game 1 against Indy to now, the experience, the atmosphere, he understands what the postseason is all about now. And, more and more time that he gets, no matter if it's the 10 minutes that he got tonight or the extended time he had in Game 3, he continues to play good ball for us. And that's key for our team, and it's key for him as well as he continues to grow.
LeBron, Chris Mannix with Yahoo. You've probably seen every kind of defense in your career. Is Boston, is what they're trying to do, a familiar defense to you? And what kind of adjustments you made the last 2 games when you're at about 60+% each one of them?
Yeah, it's not a defense that I have not seen. There's only so many that you can actually provide on the basketball floor, and I've seen them all. Pretty much through when I started to play high school and until now, so I've seen them all. But they do a really good job with their communication. Trying to force you to do things that you try to not do so well, or kind of second guess yourself. And for me, that's why I put in the work, in between days, and trying to work on my game to where you can't force me to do something I don't want to do, or I don't have too much of a weakness. I work on every aspect of my game, and but more importantly, my teammates are putting me in position and wanting me to be in attack mode and trust me to be to put our guys in position to be successful. So, it's not about me. It's about the collective group, and I'm one of the byproducts of that.
Ron Hayden Grove, Cleveland.com. Last year, you passed Michael Jordan as the #1 playoff scorer of all time. Tonight, you passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in terms of most field goals made in playoff history. What does it mean to you, if anything, to be at the top of both of those lists? I mean, I know you're probably in the moment right now, but
I don't know. Listen, anytime I'm in the same breath with the greats, I know you guys hear me say it over and over. It's just humbling, and to know where I come from. You guys know a little bit of the story, but you guys don't know the full story about where I come from and the struggle that I had. You guys know about the single parent struggle, and I know I heard that story, but there's a lot more to it, which I'll talk about when I'm done playing ball. But to know where I come from, small city, 35 miles south of here, and to hear I'm in the same category or talked about and jumping these greats in the playoffs. It's like I was a kid and I watched the playoffs so much, and I was like, I would love to be a part of that, that moment, that atmosphere, and I think it's pretty cool. You hear the scoring, the field goals made, and for a kid that really don't care much about scoring.
Ashley Bastock, Metro Networks. LeBron, can you just talk a little bit about how you guys were able to continuously utilize mismatches in your pick and roll sets and what it does for your offense as a whole when you get those looks?
I'm just watching them breaking down film and seeing what's the best possible chance for us to be successful versus their defense. And I think this league is all predicated on trying to find mismatches. That's every team. And if you look at the top, you look at the 4 teams that's in the postseason now, I mean, Houston is trying to find mismatches. Golden State is trying to find mismatches. Boston and us as well. We're all just trying to find mismatches for all of us to try to be successful offensively. So I don't think it's not much of a secret. And you just try to, execute, once you get the mismatch or you feel like you have a position where you can be successful offensively, then you just try to execute it to try to get a bucket. So, we've been very successful, in the last 2 games with doing that. Boston was very successful in the first 2 games with doing that.
Brian Scott Sargent, WFNY. You answered your first question before, and you mentioned the defensive intensity. How integral has Tristan been, tonight especially with Kevin getting into foul trouble, but over the last 2 games to kind of even up that score on the defensive end?
I mean, Tristan he's been everything for our defense. Since he got back into the rotation, got back into the starting lineup, he's just been who we've grown to know over the last, who I've grown to know over the last, 4 years, and just always taking the one-on-one challenge, but just having just this mean and this toughness about him, not only offensively but more importantly, but defensively versus anybody. He will guard anybody, and it's not saying that they won't score on him, but he will always take the challenge. He won't shy away from any competition, and he's been great. He's great in the postseason. I mean, it's not even these last 2 games, but in the postseason in general.